Story time! Hey everyone, this is Black Knight 657. Good day, good morning, good afternoon, good night, whichever day or time it is. Hopefully, you are having a good time. This is going to be the start of a new series that I am calling Story Time, which is basically just me sharing my life experiences, events that's happened to me in my life. Now, unlike the other videos that I have made before, this one's going to be more raw, meaning that it's going to be less edited. And personally, I feel like doing this without editing, without, making chops and so on, I think that's more personal. So I wanted to make it to where like I'm talking to someone right in front of me about sharing, these experiences or getting like a conversation instead of just, trying to make a video and chop or try and make it more smoothly. I guess like to me personally, it would feel more genuine if I'm like, let's say if I'm, face to you and we're talking about what's going on, or let's say, hey, what's up with you? Oh, well, here's what's happening. So, probably the first thing I would like to share or talk about is when I had a best friend in my life who is now obviously not in my life. No, I'm not saying that, he passed away or anything. He's still around as far as I know. But I did have to cut ties with him, I want to say about 8 years ago. Now, of course, I'm going to talk about, what happened and how our friendship was and so on. So let's get some context first. I want to say that me and him were probably started as friends when we were kids. I want to say maybe like 8 years old, 10 years old, somewhere around that age. And me and him became friends at our local church. And throughout the years, he was with me. We hung out on Sundays at church, Wednesday nights, the service. And once in a while, he'd be over at my house when we have like events for the church, like a picnic or some kind of party. So fast forward a few years, maybe like 5 or 6 years. This time when we were like 13 or 14 years old. And he came out as gay, or at least he wasn't too sure if he was gay or not, but he basically just came out and admitted to me and his other friends and everyone else that he was attracted to boys. Now, this was back, let's see, it's 2024 right now, right? So, I tried to do math in my head, I'm sorry. Let's see. I want to say 20 years ago. So, I want to say this happened around like 2007. So, back then, homosexuality, it was like kind of acceptable, but people were still, like skeptical about it or sus about it, or they're like, like that stuff. Unlike today, obviously, and everything. So, when he spoke out, he told me and told his other friends of coming out of the closet, And I remember when that happened, everyone else just left. Like they don't want anything to do with him. They don't want to bother him. They don't want to talk to him, just because he came out. And of course, all of his friends, or at least most of them, were boys. So they didn't want any part of him. So then he was worried about me if I would be the same way with him. And I told him no. I told him, look, I know who you are. I like you. You're my best friend. And no, I'm not going to treat you any different. Yeah, okay, you like boys now, or maybe you have been, and now you're just, telling us this, but I'm not gonna treat you any different. And I remember him being very appreciative, and I think he cried too, or he got like really emotional about it. And I gave him a hug and so on. Now here's the thing though. Even though I said all that stuff, I still was like, okay, here, I accept you, we're cool, we're still best friends. My only condition was that do not hit on me, do not try to come on me or anything, because I'm not gay myself. I'm straight, heterosexual. I like girls, women, yada yada. And he said okay. And since then we've been cool for years went on. So again, this happened when we were like, I don't want to say like 13 or 14. So now let's fast forward. Now we graduate high school and we're entering college. So like 5 years later. And we're still hanging out, we're still best friends and everything. However, here's something that I've been noticing, is that throughout the years, everything seemed the same way, The only thing was that there were a few instances to where I could tell he was, excuse me, I kind of burned right there, but I could tell where he did seem a little bit closer to me. Now, by that, I mean, like, you know, here, I'll say it like this. You know how you, like, you know, when someone, like, just likes you in your friend group or anything? It was like that. So, we're hanging out and everything, and he'd be nice to me, but then he'll, like, you know, put his, you know, hand on my shoulder or, like, kind of tap me or, like, kind of joke around or whatever. And obviously, that's, like, you know, whatever, cool, whatever. But it was more into where if I actually stopped and thought about it, it's like, okay, this seems like in more of, like, a flirty way. At first, I guess you could say I was kind of denying it because I'm just like, okay, no, 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 no. He knows I told him not to do that. He knows, you know, I'm not, you know, like that and so forth. But clearly, that's that was what was happening. Now, in the moment, obviously, I was kind of like in denial about that, or I didn't wasn't sure about it. But obviously, thinking back, I'm like, yeah, that's what was happening. So here's the okay. You might hear. I'm gonna pause right here real quick. So before, like, you know, the whole point of this when we weren't, you know, friends anymore is that I gave him like a 3 strike rule. So, like, you know, 1, 2, 3, you're out kind of thing. And that's what happened towards like the end of our friendship. Now, this right here is like gonna be like the strike 1. So what happened was, during this time, it was me, him, and then someone else, some girl. Here, you know what? Just to make sure there's no confusion or anything, let's call my friend Rick. So it was me, it was Rick, and let's call the other girl Taya. So Taya calls me or texts me. I forgot. It was either or. We all 3 of us decided to hang out at the mall, by, you know, our place and everything. And before we left, Taya texts me or calls me. I forgot. It's one of those 2, and she tells me that, hey, so we're all going out, but there's a reason why we're all doing this. And I was like, okay. I mean, because I thought we were just gonna hang out, you know, as usual or something. But she says that Rick wanted to say something to me very important. And I was kind of guessing. I was like, what was it? Something important? Something embarrassing or whatever? And she said, oh, yeah, it's kind of embarrassing, you know, and this and that. And then that's when everything started to click or I started to connect the dots about what happened. Like I said, I was catching some things about my friend Rick of how he was feeling and everything. And then I'm not that stupid. So I was like, is he going to say something about me or about how he feels? And she got quiet for a second and was like, yes. And I was like, oh crap. I was like, oh no. I felt very awkward. I mean, even right now, I'm still like, oh, I just can't believe it. But anyways, so I was like, okay, I guess. But he does know I'm not. Yeah, right. Like I know he knows that. I know I told him that like multiple times, you know, before, and we've been friends for years and everything. And she says, yes, she knows that. However, there's something that he has to do or say to you. Which at first I was like, okay, whatever. But honestly, I get it. Like, you know, like I've had crushes, you know, over friends before, where like, you know, I liked them, and then there are times to where I just couldn't handle it. Like, you know, I wanted to, you know, like, you know, tell them, hey, I like you, or maybe I just wanted to ask them out, or like it was bothering me so much to where if I couldn't like get it out or get some kind of like confirmed answer from them, then it's gonna bar the heck on me. So basically, it's like let's say if I, you know, confess myself to you know her, and she says, oh well, I like as a friend. Of course, you know, I'll be heartbroken or like, but at least I got confirmation. That way, you know, it would stop bugging me the whole time about it. So that's what was happening with him, and I was like, okay. So basically, Taya gave me a heads up about what was gonna happen. So then we all finally met up at the mall. It was me, her, and Rick, and I guess I was trying my best and my hardest to just basically act casual, act like I didn't know what was going to happen, and we met up with Rick, and Rick saying hi, I said hi back, and we're all just hanging out. But then as we were hanging out, I did notice him being like nervous, you know, a bit, and everything. which obviously I knew why, because like I said, Taya gave me a heads up about what was going on. So basically, the whole time we were just hanging out at the mall, I was just waiting for him to like say something, and I don't want to bring it up or anything. So I think it was like an hour or two later, we went to the food court to get some lunch, and that's when he finally decided to, I guess, tell me. So it's all three of us on the table, and then that's when he was trying to tell me something, and he was had a hard time with saying it. And then, and then that's when Taya comes around and basically just kind of does it for him, because he was just too nervous. But she wanted to confirm it with him first. So she said, "Do you want me to just say it?" And he just nodded. So that's when Taya, said over the phone or whatever, she told me in person, says, "Hey, so Rick has feelings for you, and he likes you, and so on and so forth, like, that stuff." And like I said, Taya already gave me a heads up, so I already knew that was happening. But I was like, like even right now, I still feel like that. I can't believe that just happened moment. And I was like, okay. And I look at Rick too, because he's like across the table from me, while Taya's like on like the left side of us, kind of like in the middle. Basically, it felt like a okay, those like debates where you see them on like online, to where you have like like each person on the opposite side of the table, and they have like the what do you call it, the hostess or the person who's monitoring it, like that person. That's how I felt like it. So that's what's happening. And I remember too, Taya even said that Rick told her to kind of be that person, to kind of be like the witness of this, or kind of like be the helper of this. And I was like, what? I don't know, this just gets awkward. I don't think about it, just nervous. Anyway, so he finally confessed and everything, right? And I mean, like, yeah, it took a second to kind of process that, but I was like, look, like I told him I appreciate it, and yeah, that you like me in that certain way and so forth, but I don't feel the same way. And I told him that I don't feel the same way. I told him that, no, I'm not, gay. I don't like, boys or men, that stuff, whatever. And then I kind of got serious about it, to where I told him, like, look, man, you've like been knowing this, for years. That's not who I am and everything. And then he said, like, yeah, I know, but I just wanted to, like, just like tell you this and whatever. And then that's pretty much it of like what happened. Then afterwards, yeah, we like got up and kept, like hanging around, and it was a bit awkward for like maybe like 10 minutes. But then afterwards, we kind of just like, I guess, like brush it off. Basically, like everything resumed right away, and he did thank me for letting him confess to me, and then it seemed like everything was fine. Excuse me. So for me personally, that was strike one. And the reason why it was strike one is because, like I said, like at this point in time, me and him were friends for, I want to say, maybe like 10 years or like 12 years or something like that. So he already knew how I was. He already knew who I liked, who I've been with, and let's see, we were like 18 or 19. So like, yeah, so like this was a time to where I think I just broke up with my first girlfriend at the time too, or she broke with me, which, what, now think about it, that's that's something that I should share about too. Of my first girlfriend probably breaking up with me. And I say that because it wasn't just like, I just don't like you or this and that. So no, honestly, like what happened was kind of crazy. But like I said, I'll say that for another time or show, whatever it is. Anyways, so yeah, so then like I said, me and him were friends for like 10 years or plus and everything. So it's like he knows who I am. He knows what's up. And for me, I didn't like that. I told him don't do that. And I remember even telling him to not do that, because I knew that if he did, or if he did anything, it wouldn't ruin our friendship, but it would definitely cause some kind of rift, like some kind of like dent or something. So I didn't, like that, and that's what happened, or at least personally for me. So I was like, okay, well, that happened, but then I'm like, you know what? Here, it happened. I don't have to do it, but hey, whatever. I'm just gonna keep moving forward. Let's move on. And for me personally, it wasn't that serious, And again, this is the first strike, which there's 2 more strikes, and the reason why it became a strike is because I just had enough with him. And again, I am going to go into more about what happened. So now, fast forward, want to say, fast forward 5 years later, and this was when now I was 24. I'm 24, right? Yeah, I was 24 this time. I remember now. Yeah, so I was 24, and he was also 22. Me and him were the same age. So this time, we had more friends around us. So again, it was me, Rick, Taya, and then someone else too. I forgot what her name was or whatever. I really did, but let's call her D for now. So here's those here. Okay, so now here's strike 2 of what happened, or you could say part 2 of this. I don't know. So while we were hanging out, so no. I'm sorry. We weren't hanging out, but we were like friends together. So there was one night when me and Taya were on the phone because she called me because I guess like if I recall right, this guy that she was seeing pretty much like broke it off with her, or they weren't together but they're like dating, I guess, and messing around or something like that. I don't know, but he basically broke her heart and she wanted someone to talk to. She said that she couldn't get a hold of Rick because like that was like her first go-to, I guess, or whatever. And then she couldn't get a hold with someone else, and then she couldn't get a hold with someone else. So I was like her 4th choice, I guess, of line to talk to someone. I mean, hey, whatever, I don't care. Anyways, but anyway, so I tried to talk to her, I tried to calm her down, and then she asked if she can like come over to like just like hanging out, whatever. I said okay, fine, sure. So she goes over to my place, and I'm letting her vent. I'm letting her cry, her emotion out, and I'm giving her the best advice I can. Tell her like, hey, well, I mean, this is what happens. Some guys are like this, blah blah blah. All that stuff. And kind of context about this. I had like friends besides them, like other friends too, throughout the years. I was always the person that people went to when they had like problems, when they had issues, when they want to like I kid not, like counseling. I was like the counselor basically. I give them advice and what to do and opinions and everything, So I was like that person that they can go to, because for me, I'm not the type of person to like judge someone, exactly, or like I will always try my best to understand that person, whether it is them going through a hard time or they have like weird opinions or views about the world and so forth. I will always try my best to understand it. Of course, if I see something wrong with it, I will tell them, hey, well, to me, I think that's wrong, or that's immoral or whatever, and then I would explain myself. I wouldn't just tell them, no, that's wrong, that's it. No, I'd be like, no, I believe this is wrong because of X, Y, and Z. And I will say it in a non-judgmental way. So that way it's like, look, I'm here for you, I care for you and everything and so forth. So what I'm saying to you is I'm trying to make sure you become the best person you are. And that's who I am, and that's who I still am today. So now back to what happened so forth. So I'm telling her all this, right? And she appreciates it. And she says thank you and this and that, so forth. And then I told her if she wants to just hang out a bit more, she can. She said okay. So me and her we're just hanging out. We're like we're gonna watch TV and everything. And then this part gets a little interesting. Well, actually a lot interesting depending on how much I say it though. Here, you know what? I'm just gonna I guess sum up what happened, not get into the gritty details about this, but basically, how should I say this? She wanted a massage, and then that massage led to something else. I'll just say it like that. If I want to get into the details about it, maybe that's the next part of that. But basically, that's what happened. So, get a massage, it led to something else, and then right afterwards, we're like, okay, cool, that happened. Now, with her, yeah, like I said, maybe in another video, I'll talk about the details about kind of like that, or like, like what happened more about it. But basically, she talked to me and said, hey, let's make sure that we don't, tell Rick about this. And for me, I was like, why? I mean, like, the reason why I said why, or like I asked her why, is because like, not like I was going to tell him what happened, but it's like, well, if he finds out, he finds out. So what, kind of like that thing. And also because it's like, I saw him as my best friend too, like at the moment. So it's like, me and him will tell each other like everything, or if we say something, we wouldn't be like judgmental or whatever, like it was like that. Basically, I saw him as kind of like a brother too in a way. But anyways, so the reason why she said that she didn't want him to know is because not really because of for her exactly, like she was embarrassed, I guess you could say, whatever, but it was more so because during this time he still liked me a lot, basically to where it was like that. So like when I mentioned before, he confessed to me. This is where he like still liked me a lot to the point to where I guess according to her that he basically fell in love with me. I was like, oh jeez. Anyways, so yeah, so basically she didn't want him to find out just because she didn't want to hurt his feelings. I was kind of confused. I was like, why does that matter? Like really, why does that matter? Because I told her again, yes, he confessed to me, those years ago, remember that you were there, and like, he knows who I am, and this and blah blah blah. And this was all around the time to where I had that's kind of funny actually, to where I broke up with my second ex-girlfriend. It was funny how this. I just realized something. Why does this stuff happen after I break up with my exes? So I'm just like, okay, well, I mean, if he finds out, he finds out, and also, I mean, like, he knows, I like, girls listen out, so forth. So basically, it's like I didn't care, or let's see. It's like I guess I guess if I mean it's like I didn't care, but also it's just like, yeah, he likes me, but he knows I don't like him, so like I don't know, at that moment, so where I can't really, I guess, like just dissect it like in this moment though. But basically that was her concern. She didn't want him to know because then he'll get his feelings hurt about it or something like that, or maybe he would get mad at her because knowing that she knows that he likes me. But again, it's just like I don't like him like that, so why does it matter? Anyways, so I told her, okay, I won't tell. But then she says, do you promise? And I said, I promise I won't tell him what happened between us or whatever. And she said, okay. Funny enough too, whatever, even afterwards, besides that, she even asked if like me and her were cool, afterwards too, because I guess like she was worried that if the guy, I guess, like got something, he would leave. But I told her, no, I'm not like that. Like, yeah, that happened, yeah, heat the moment, I guess, but like I'm not gonna dip. I told her me and you are still friends and everything. She's like, okay. Anyways, fast forward. I want to say maybe about like a week later. This is when this is when D comes in. So now a week later, it's like me, Rick, Taya, and D. And D is like the new person, I guess, like of like the friend group that we were having. And she was friends with Rick. So then me and D were talking and trying to get to know each other. And while we were like out and about, it was just me and her alone. And then she asked about how I knew about Taya. And I was telling her, oh, I knew Taya, blah, 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 so forth. And then this is a life lesson that I take from heart now. Is that, and this kind of just slipped out of my mouth. I didn't even mean to say it, I guess. I was just rambling about me and her. I just told her, oh, yeah, and me and Taya had like a thing before, but that was it. Literally, that's all I said. All I said was that me and Taya did a thing, and that was it. I didn't go details. I didn't tell her exactly what the thing was. I just told her me and her did a thing. That was it. And she was like, okay. That's literally all I said. Now here's the jacked up part about this. A few days later, Rick calls me, and he asks me, hey, did you and Taya did anything? And that's when I was like, what? I'm like, no. And I told him no. Because one, I made that promise. I said that I made that promise to Taya that I wouldn't, say anything about it, to him. So I was keeping that promise, but also I'm thinking to myself like, wait, how does he know this? And I'm thinking to myself like, oh, that girl, that D girl. I'm just like, wait, did she say something? Okay, now here's the life lesson that I learned apparently is that like, you can't just tell people or share anything to just strangers you don't know. Because the way I thought back then is this. It's like, okay, I just met this person, right? So if I say anything to this person, what they probably wouldn't care, or they'd be like, oh, okay, well, that's neat about you or whatever, so I don't care, No, I just met this chick, and then she goes blabbering out to Rick about between me and Taya doing a thing. Again, that's literally all I said. And I guess like they were trying to figure it out, and then said maybe the thing is that they did the thing. I don't know. But anyways, so yeah, so then Rick calls me. He says, "Hey, did anything happen between you and Taya?" And I was like, "No, nothing happened." And he said, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "Yes, I am sure." So me here just kept going at it, and then for me, I like what I wanted to tell him. Yeah, me and her, like did it or whatever, so forth. But like the thing was though, it was like, no, I made a promise, and for me, I keep my promises. I really do. So it's like I made a promise to Taya that I won't say anything. So I kept it up. So here's the jacked up part right here. While he was talking to me, he then said, "Okay, you heard that?" And I was like, "Huh?" Apparently, we were on a 4-way call between me, him, D, and Taya. And D and Taya were keeping quiet to see what I would say. And I was confused. I was like, what is going on? And apparently, they wanted to investigate me to see if what happened between me and her was true. So then Rick starts talking, and then he says, I said, well, Dee said that you two probably did a thing, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, what? I was like, no. And then like, he didn't ask Taya, like, they happened. And dude, this part, this part was kind of jacked up too, actually. So then he asked Taya what happened, and Taya denied the crap out of it. She was going hard. By that I mean like she was saying like, no, me and him didn't do anything. He's lying. He's this and that, blah blah. And I'm just thinking to myself like, what? I'm just like, wait. And now, okay, again, I know we probably try not to tell him, not tell Rick, but it's just like this girl was going so hard on it. Like, oh my god. Like, she basically was saying and acting like as if I'm not good enough to even do anything. Oh my gosh. I'm laughing so hard about it because, man, I felt like I wasn't hit. Oh my god. Anyways, okay. Sorry about that. Anyway, so yeah, so basically she was going hard and she was denying the crap out of it. And I don't think to myself, like, this son of a, okay, all right. And so then afterwards, it came down to me, and then he asked if I was lying or she was lying or whatever. And man, I want to just scream out the truth. I want to be like, you know what? Yeah, me and her do it. You know what? Yeah, me and her did that. Like, but no, I didn't. So basically, I took the bullet, and I said, you know what? Yes, I lied. Nothing happened between us. I was just saying whatever, because I'm stupid, I guess, or, whatever else. Nothing happened between us. And right there, that was my strike two. Because, like, I was just baffled. I really was. Like, I was like, wow, like really? Because it was like, yes, I kept my promise. I still kept my promise, by the way, to where I didn't tell him. Now, here's the thing, though. Yeah, I did say, oh, me and Taylor did a thing to D, but however, that was D. That wasn't him. So I still kept my promise, honestly, because I didn't tell him anything. Even that moment to where I could have. Or, whatever. But anyways, yeah, so, like, that was strike two. Because for me, in my head, when they finally, like, hung up the phone and this and that, I felt backstabbed. I felt betrayed. Not, well, obviously betrayed by Taya, but I get it. I mean, her made a promise not saying anything, but still, I'm just like, girl, really? Holy crap. And like I said, she was going hard. I'm denying that. But anyways, I felt mostly betrayed between me and Rick, because the way I saw it was this. Okay, you know me, let's say around this time, I want to say it was like 15 years, more than 15 years, I don't know. It was something like that. So then I was like, dude, you know me for 15 years plus, and you only know this D person for what, like what, a few weeks maybe, and you've known Taya for what, maybe like 2 years or how long it was, but you know me for pretty much like most of our life now. And instead of believing me or taking my word for it, you're just gonna believe them. Now, granted, again, I didn't tell him exactly, but at the same time too, it's just like, I don't know, like, Like you would like with me, I felt like, I thought he would pick up the sign or pick up the hint saying like, no, like, hey, no, it happened, but I'm trying to keep it secret or something like that. So for me, that was like straight two because I felt like I said, betrayed. I felt bad, so, and for me, I was like, wow, this guy's believing these two, girls or whatever and so forth, and I believe in his best friend who's been his friend when he went through hard times when he came out, saying that he was gay and so forth, and like 15 years plus. So I was like, wow. So fast forward a little bit now, it was like maybe like a few days later, because basically all of them went silent on me, and I was like whatever about it. So a few days later, he calls me back, and he said he thought about it and everything, and then he said okay, and he promised me that hey, look, there's what no one else here. It's just between me and you. And they asked me again, did anything happen? And for me, I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm just gonna tell him. So I told him, yes, it did happen. She was lying, and I even gave him details. I gave him details to basically kind of like prove it, or not really prove it though, but to tell him no, like we like something happened and everything. And then he said, you know what? Okay, I believe you. And then he did apologize, and he said, you know what? I'm sorry that I didn't believe you, and I'm sorry this and that. So, and yeah, he did acknowledge that. Yeah, we've been friends for for so long and everything, and yeah, which I did accept the apology, and yeah, that's what I was, I guess, say butthurt about or whatever and so forth. But still, I'm just like, come on, man. Like, I don't know. I guess like okay, so then now from there it's like Shark One was him confess to me, which I told him to not do that, years later and so forth, to not do that to me. Then the Strike Two was how he took their side over mine, regardless of how much time we've like, known each other and so on and so forth. And it was just like wow. So now I guess comes in the whole Strike Three thing, and like I said, like three strikes are out. So now we go. I want to say maybe like I think it was within the same year this happened. If not, it was like a year later. Now this is when I met my wife. Yes, yeah, and yeah, yes, I'm married and everything. But anyways, so this is where I met my wife. I mean, her were friends at first, and I gotta tell you this really quick though. I did not expect to marry her at all. I'm not gonna. I'm not joking. When we met, I'm not into partying. I'm not into party girls, and that stuff. That's who she was, and I was like, okay. But and here, honestly, I would have cut her off, like probably like after our first meeting or two or whatever. But for some reason, I saw something in her to where I knew that whatever she was doing, that wasn't her. So that's why I stuck around, became her friend, and I was like the person trying to steer her right, saying, hey, I don't think you should be doing this, or this doesn't look good and so forth. And of course she was like, oh, what do you know? You don't know how to have fun. You don't know how to do this. You should be drinking this, blah blah blah, so forth. But it got to the point to where I honestly had enough of her, but it wasn't to where I want to cut her off. No, I had enough of her to where I'm like, you know what? Screw all this. I'm gonna tell her straight up now what is good and what is bad, and like from right and wrong. And then that's when I was trying to really set her straight and tell her, no, this is wrong. This isn't a good thing. That however, if you do this is good, and all that stuff. Anyways, so then eventually, months later, she finally, I guess, like stopped doing all that nonsense, and like started becoming more clean about the things that she was doing. And you know what? And I think about too. I think that could be another story too that I can share with as well. Not like details about everything, but kind of like wow moment. Anyways, so then me and her were getting closer and becoming good friends ourselves, right? So then throughout this whole time, excuse me, throughout this whole time, Rick was noticing her getting closer to me and was becoming my friend and everything, which he was cool with her, everything was fine and everything, right? So then this is where the Strike 3 comes in. Me and my wife were friends, I want to say 5 or 6 months within our friendship or something like that. I don't know, but it was basically to the point to where she really liked me. To basically she was starting to fall for me or love me and this and that so forth. Where for me, I did like her a lot, but there was a few things that she was still doing that I didn't like. So basically, I told her like, look, if you stop, like well, not stop drinking, but if you stop, drinking so much and maybe do it occasionally or just, just whatever, then I told her that I could give her a chance and everything because for me, I didn't want to deal with that, And then that's when she started to actually really turn these around, and which is cool. It really was. But anyways, but this was around the time to where he started to know that Rick started to know that, and obviously, now knowing what I knew after this happened and everything, this was when he was starting to get jealous because again, he was still crushing on me. He was still liking me so hard. I'm just like, dude, just stop, just let me go. Let me go, man. Like, or something. I don't know. This is like, wow. I don't know. But anyways, so my wife at the time when we were friends, or whatever, she actually hung out with Rick, and because like they were out like having like a drink or just talking whatever, right, and so I wasn't there because I was somewhere else. But after they hung out, that's when my wife came to me and told me that she hung out with Rick, and I said, "Oh, you had a good time?" She said, "Yeah, I did," and this and that, so forth. However, she felt like it, and this comes from her though. She said that she felt like in her heart that she had to tell me this about him, and this is what she told me. She told me that while they're hanging out, he was telling her about our friendship. How like we've been friends for, I think at this time we were like friends for like maybe like 17 years or something like that, or 16 years. And how I was always there for him, and how I was there for him when he came out, and like all this stuff, right? And then basically I was like, okay, cool. But then he started to say some crap. He started to say some dumb stuff, to where like he was basically telling her that the reason why I was hanging out with him still was because I secretly liked him. Basically, he was saying that how I was secretly gay, and that I actually liked him, or that I was in such huge denial about my sexuality or something like that. I don't know. And then I was like, what? And for me, that was like my strike through right there, because again, I just couldn't believe it, and once again, I felt like betrayed too, in a way, because apparently according to her, yeah, he was just saying all this stuff about me, and then as he was talking all this crap and saying all this stuff, she said in her head that there was like what's probably funny or also kind of awesome about my wife at this time is that even though she was hearing all this, in her head she was saying like, no, there's no way he's gay. There's no way, he's into man. There's no way he's secretly whatever and so forth. Because she said, it's kind of funny right here, this part here. She said, nah, she deeply knew I was, full on straight, 100% straight, and and that the funny part about this too is that at this time she was convinced that what I liked to her a lot at this point, which granted I did, but I didn't really say it, to her. I was just like, isn't that over? But anyways, so she didn't believe him. She was like, and what she even told him too, like, no, I'm pretty sure he's straight. And not to mention, if I recall right, I think this happened after me and her messed around too, I think, if I recall right. So that's how she also kind of confirmed too that I was straight. Anyways, so yeah, and I just heard this, and she was just giving me the details about what was happening, and then right there I was like, you know what, that's it. So as soon as she told me of that, I just cut him off. I pretty much ghosted him, because I blocked him from social media. I blocked his number, and I got rid of it too. And just anything contacting him, anything that I could find, I just cut him off. I just blocked him completely, and I didn't even say anything. And the reason why is because I was just done. Now, here's the thing though. Like I said, 3 strikes are out. But those 3 strikes, that happened within our lives, to me, those felt the most personal. I say that though because, like, here's the thing. I'm pretty sure we all got friends. We all got, like, family, the ones who give you, like, problems, the ones who, have their issues to where you're like, oh my gosh, or oh, it's so annoying. he was like that too. He had his issues. He has his problems. Basically, now I think about it, he was like a drama person. You know, he really was. Now I think about it, he liked the drama. He loved drama. Now I think, no, he loved drama. Seriously, like what he was nosy. He wanted to know all the juice details and everything and so forth. I mean, I'm just saying, you know, because women like that stuff, and you know, he was gay. He was like feminine and this and that, blah blah. Anyways, so. Like you know, he was like that, and for me, I didn't like that, and it got worse over time. Me and him were friends, you know. So it wasn't just those 3 times that happened to where I was just done with him. No, it was like other times too, but they're like, it was like building up, you could say, you know, like you know, if you have like you know, little things here and there with someone, but then they eventually get to the point to where you basically just had enough, you know, and that's what happened, and right there, that was like my last straw. So again. Right after she told me this, you know, I'm just like, I'm done. So, like I said, I blocked him, got rid of his number, social media, nothing. I just literally ghosted him. And that was pretty much the last time I saw him or spoke to him. Actually, I remember this happening too. Right after I blocked him and everything, it was like a week later. He actually came to my place or whatever, and this was a time to where I was still with my parents at first before you know got out and everything. But he came by the house and he did ask for me, and I told my parents hey, I cut him off, so it's not right. So they told him, oh well, you know, he's not here or he's out, so whatever. And then he said okay, so then he left. But that was like officially the last time I've heard from him. And as of right now, excuse me, as of right now, I want to say that was, let's see, I'm 32 right now, so I think that was like 8 years ago or 7 years ago, something like that. I don't know, but I haven't spoken to him in that long. Yeah, it was like 7 to 8 years ago the last time I spoke to him or saw him or anything. Well, the sad part about this too, for me, I see that is that I did had our wedding with my wife, like, you know, a year later that happened. But in my head, I think to myself, like, okay, when I get married to, you know, whoever was before it was my wife, whoever was that, I was gonna have him, you know, as my best friend, if not best friend, as my best man. Sorry about that. But anyway, that's gonna have him as my best man. But obviously, if he couldn't do it, then you know, obviously, I would invite him to, you know, the wedding and so forth. You know, be there. But you know, after that happened and you know everything, I was like, nah. So I didn't invite him to, you know, our wedding. I didn't invite him to, you know, anything else or anything because I was just done. I really was. And it just sucks, you know. Now, here's the thing though. This happened recently to where it was like a month ago, and my cousin messaged me, and she told me, "Hey, Rick is trying to, you know, contact you." I was like, "What?" Because again, I haven't heard from him in years, right? So apparently he still had contact with my cousins, which is fine. I don't care. You know who he's friends with. He could be still friends with my sisters. I don't care, you know. But anyways, he contacted her and he was telling her that he didn't know why I left, or like he didn't, you know, knew you know what happened. And I was like, wait, what? But then I forgot. I was like, oh yes, right. I ghosted him. I didn't tell him. You know, I literally just did. I didn't give any reason why because that's how pissed off I was and everything. But I just couldn't believe it. Like I'm like, wait a minute. So after all these years, we haven't spoken to each other. Like what? I was still, I guess, in your head. I was still in the back of your mind and everything. For me, I was like, wow. But also, it's kind of like, at the same time too, I'm myself like, okay, you truly had no idea why I just left. You know, because you would think by now it's like, I guess it's just that, you know, when like someone's just oblivious about you know what happened, or say like, or kind of like say like, oh, was I the problem? And here's the thing too, even if you don't think you are the problem, it's just like you would think you'd be like, what are the, you know, I guess outcomes or what could have happened, if that makes sense or not. But anyways, so that's what I was thinking, and then I told my cousin because I didn't tell anyone this, like, you know, everybody in my family, but I gave my cousin a brief summary. I said, okay, so yeah, I stopped talking to him because you know 3 strikes thing, you know, because of this and that. So yeah, and she said, oh okay. So then she told me, here, you know what, I'm just gonna say, you know, tell him that that you had, you know, issues or problems, and he just dipped. And that's what she did, and I said, yeah, sure. And then she literally told me that right after she said that, she actually blocked him. Because my family, we are close, you know. My sisters and cousins and everything, we are like that close to where we got each other's back and everything, you know. But anyways, but then this happened like last month, so I guess like it's been on my mind about, you know, about I guess him and everything, because I have been thinking about like, okay, like, yeah, you know, past is past, and yeah, they cut him off. He is my past name and so forth. But at the time too, I guess like when that happened, he kind of was like on my mind, and part of me was like, okay, should I like give him another chance? Should I talk to him? Should I tell him why I left and everything? But at the same time, at the same time too, it's like, what am I really thinking about? You know. And I think like deep down, it's just like, I think it's more than just him. It's more like that betrayal kind of thing, you know? Because for me personally, I consider myself as a, you know, really good friend, you know? Like I said, I was like, you know, that I was someone that everyone, you know, went to, whether it was my family, whether it was my, you know, friends or anyone, you know, everyone to me, they told me their problems, they told me their, you know, deep dark secrets. Like, trust me, I actually know some stuff about people that I don't think I should know. You know, and like even people were very comfortable around me too, to where they can be who they are, they can do what they wanted, you know. I mean, it like, well, what basically, I had friends who were so close to me that I remember I had these two friends of mine who were, you know, together, and like when I was driving, and when they were like going at it in the back of the seat while I was driving. I as a joke, I told him, be sure to clean up afterwards, please. Anyways, so basically it was like, you know, that close, right? So like, I was that person to where, you know, you can like come to me, and I can, you know, be caring. I'll be nice to you. I won't judge you. You know, I will try my best to be understanding and this and that. But again, too, if I see something wrong or immoral, I'll let you know, and you know, try to hold you accountable on it, so forth. Because for me, you know, that's what a good person does. I believe, you know, is that like, you know, you care for them and you want the best for people. And you know, there's that saying, like, you know, like you know, treat people the way that you want to be treated. You know that thing. So basically, I guess like for me, I didn't get that same treatment from him much. Or if I did, it was like here and there, or like yeah, he was there, but you know, like I said, thinking about it and there and so forth, it's just like, was he there much? Even throughout all those years too, you know? And I mean, yeah, he was, but when it comes to like the more personal stuff, it's just like, I guess he was kind of like a breeze or wind or something like that. I don't know. Or it's kind of hard for me to explain, I guess. But anyways, I guess like I said, it's just that I felt, you know, betrayed, and also I just felt like I guess in a way, why me, if that makes sense. And look, I know it's not all about me. I know everybody has their problems, and you know, the world is not wrong with me. I know that for a fact. You know, no one's perfect. You know all this stuff and so forth. Or the world doesn't owe me anything. You know. But again, as someone who's always been there for someone, thick skin, and, you know, hard times and like all that stuff, right? For everyone. And then when someone who was very close to you, you know, doesn't do it bad to you, or you know, or kind of like goes behind your back and so forth. That's like, wow. So I think that's it. So because of that too, even though it kind of makes me want to, you know, part of me kind of wants to reach out to either just tell them what happened or whatever. Most of me is saying, nah, just leave it alone. You know, past the past, it's all done with and so forth. And it's like, and I don't know. It's just like, wow. But I guess also, I've been at this for a while now. I just realized that. But anyways, yeah. So this is, I guess, just one thing that I did want to share with my ex best friend. You know, 3 strikes. To where first strike was he fell in love with me. I told him not to do that or to pursue me and so forth, but he did. And here, you know what? I just remember something too. To kind of add to that, I remember me and him hanging out with a few like people or whatever, and he sent me messages, and this was during time after he confessed his feelings to me, and he was getting closer to me and everything. I remember him sending messages, and then he said, "Hey, you look really really good. It's okay if I can go down on you." I was like, "That's what?" And I had to keep my composure too because we were around people, and I just had to. It said, no, thank you, no." But I was like, "Dude, come on." Anyway, so first strike was that he confessed to me. The second strike was him just not having my back or believing in me and believing in someone else he either barely knew or just didn't know much about. While me and him were friends for like almost a lifetime together or like almost our lives at the moment. And then the third strike is when he just tried to convince my my other best friend or my future wife right there that that I was gay or I was secretly gay and all that stuff when I'm not and I wasn't. That's where I felt ultimate betrayal. I was like, wow. And funny enough, if he succeeded, then to be honest, I wouldn't be with her then, I guess. But no, thank God for my wife because he was like, no. Anyways, so I just wanted to share my experience with that and how basically it's just like how you had a best friend who was friends with you for most of your life. Well, I'm 32 now, so I would say half my life at this moment at least. He's been my friend half my life, and like I said, been through hard times, told each other things, and then just does all that, And I know there's probably people out there who's had best friends or people who are close to them or where they were close to you, and then stuff happened, So it's just like these things like this happen, and it's unfortunate how around the world, and if not around the world, around this country, because I'm from the U.S. So like how our society is just, for me personally, it's just kind of just getting worse. I mean, granted, there are things like people are starting to realize things more now, which is good, obviously, really good. But it's just like all these friendships, all these backstabbers, and they're not like you're really friends and so forth. I'm not saying he wasn't a really good friend to me, because he truly was honestly a good friend, but just over time, obviously he wasn't. But I also think that too he was just influenced by other people who weren't like good people around them, and that can happen. And this is why you gotta be careful about who you're friends with or who you're around. And there are obvious red flags around you, but some people either are just stupid, I think, or they just completely ignore them, and it's just like what are you doing? That's why I also I guess like feel proud of myself, or or I have like high standards for myself to where I feel like I'm that person who can be like might sound cheesy, but I guess like I can be like their light, like I could be their a guy to be like, okay, no, this is what you should be doing, or hey, hey, do this instead. This will benefit you, instead of being like, oh yeah, go ahead and do what you want, oh yeah, freedom, oh yeah, dream, do drugs. Like no, no, I'm not into that at all. I know that's wrong. I've seen all the bad stuff. I've seen people go the wrong way, and I've heard people who I knew personally passed away from stuff like that too. It's crazy, but yeah, I don't know. Anyways, like I said too, in this video, like I've been talking for what, like 50, well, according to this thing, 52 minutes now. I'm just rambling on. And like I said too, I'm not gonna edit all of this and so forth, because I truly believe that me talking like this personally feels more personal, feels more genuine, me talking like this. And this is the way I talk to anyone who's like right in front of me. This is how I guess say like communicate or share my thoughts and feelings about this. But nope, it's just one story I have, or one event in my life that I'm willing to share. I got a lot more that I could say. I got a lot more coming, but I don't know. Let's see how else goes, because I'll admit my life has gone way busier now. Full-time job, or like a new full-time job and all that stuff too, which is good, because I put my family first and priorities first always. But if I ever get a chance to do this, or just post clips or so forth, yeah, sure, I'll do it. Basically, I'm saying though, if I make another video like this, I don't know when that will happen though, but hopefully soon. But we'll see. But anyways, so yeah, so if you like this video, I thank you very much for listening this whole time. If you make it this far, I thank you very much for listening to this as far as you have gotten. And yeah, if you want to, you can leave a like or comment anything, or how about you share your experience too with your best friend or anyone else who is close to you too. And just don't give up and know that, yeah, things happen, but you can move forward and like everything's going to be okay and fine with you. Or if not, hey, I guarantee you that there's always going to be someone there to talk to you about anything else, you know? You can reach out to family, friends, or any mentors, or just anyone, you know? There's always going to be someone there for you. But anyways, but have a good day, have a good night, and God bless you. Thank you.